Hey everyone, how's it going today and welcome to another episode. So the story to today's video is really about the fact that when you are poor or anyone that has experienced poverty at some point in life, every dollar is really important. And I speak as someone that comes from personal experience, is that because back when I was unemployed, because the foundation of this channel, if you guys have been here for a while, is that it was a channel meant to bring a lot of people that were unemployed, including myself, together. So when you are unemployed and you're not making a lot of money, if anything, having almost no money coming in whatsoever, every dollar is really important. But when you are able to save your first $10,000, a lot of things about life really changes drastically. Now, if you're able to save your first $100,000, it becomes even more drastic. But today's video is really going to be focused about how the first $10,000 that you ever save is going to be one of the most life-changing financial milestones that you will ever be able to achieve. And the reason behind this is that because when you have money, it becomes a lot easier to make even more money. Very similar to building a network, how the more people you know, the even easier it is to know even more people because people can introduce you to even more people. And similarly with money, the more money you have, the easier it is to make even more money because it means you can take that money and invest it. But in today's video, let's just talk all about that. So with that being said, let's just get right to this. But like, comment, subscribe if you guys enjoy videos like this, or watch to the end and decide, and let's get started. So the first way that your life will change very drastically when you save up your first $10,000 is that it's going to be very influential to your investments, especially because of the weight of every dollar that's now going to potentially be able to compound once you get to that level, and even more especially if the way that you achieve that $10,000 was through investing. And the reason behind it is, just think about the logic like this. If you are someone that has $100 in your bank account, going up 10% is really just $10. In New York City, that is barely enough money to even afford a meal, because many restaurants today, at the very minimum, you will probably drop at least $20 to eat out at just a very reasonable restaurant. So we're not even talking about a high-end, like fine dining restaurant, just even a reasonable burger joint of some kind. Some people can spend about $20 off of it. But when you are someone that's able to save your first $1,000, going up 10% now can yield you about $100. But when you are able to save up $10,000, that is when it makes a massive difference, because now going up 10% in the stock market, or in just however mode of investment that you're looking in, going up 10% is going to be worth about $1,000. $1,000 is very different than $100, and certainly very different than only $10. There is a lot of stuff that you can do for $1,000. It is probably not going to be like massive life-changing money, in the sense that $1,000 can go really fast, especially if you are like me that lives in New York City, which has a very high cost of living. But at the end of the day, you can do a lot for $1,000. You can spend it on many bills. You can pay off credit card debt, which we're going to talk about in a little bit, so definitely stay tuned. But the idea is that the weight of your money when it comes to investing starts to go up very drastically, and starts to really be able to compound when you save up your first $10,000. And I think that's going to be the one way that it's going to start to really drastically be beneficial for almost every single person's life that's watching this right now, when you are able to save up that first $10,000. Now, you can only imagine when you save your first $100,000 what it's going to be, but this video again is focused on $10,000. Now, the second way that life really changes when you're able to save up your first $10,000 is that it finally gives you some level and sense of financial security. Because when you are someone that really has almost no money whatsoever, and I speak from experience as well, because there was a period of time I had no money coming into my bank account, because again, I was unemployed for that period of time. But when you save up your first $10,000, it gives you a sense of financial security because you're able to feel that at least now you have that money to use in the case of some kind of emergency. I know it depends on where you specifically are located, but even in a very high cost of living like New York City, $10,000 can pay rent for like a studio apartment, at least certainly a humble size studio apartment, for about 3 to 4 months. You know, it's something in that particular ballpark. This probably also depends on your particular life situation, but if you are someone that's a young single male or female of some kind, $10,000 can go reasonably far, certainly help you sustain security-wise for at least another several months, which is very, very life-changing while you are looking for your job. I know that like right now, especially in this particular job market, there's a lot of people that are part of the long-term unemployment that might have been out of work and is still struggling to find work to this day for much more longer than 4 months. But at the end of the day, 4 months, it is a pretty reasonable amount of time. It might go fast, but it is certainly a reasonable amount of time. And when you have that $10,000, you now have that cushion to be able to deal with any potential emergencies, at least for the near future. And I think that's the really, really great news about how life changes when you have $10,000. Now, the third way that life really, really changes when you have $10,000 is that it's also going to be massive assistance to anyone that has a reasonable amount of debt. $10,000 can pay off a lot of different kinds of debt. It certainly can pay off most people's credit card debt in its entirety, because again, I think the average amount of credit card debt that people typically carry is probably going to be about a couple $1,000, and $10,000 is going to be able to sustain that. It certainly can pay off a lot of car loans. If anything, for $10,000, you can even just buy a brand new, maybe not a brand new, but certainly a used car out of the logic that that's typically about the cost of a car, a couple $1,000s. It probably will not pay off your mortgage because especially these days with housing prices so expensive, is that you're going to need a lot more than $10,000 to buy a home in most areas of America. But it will certainly pay off credit card debt. It will certainly help out with student loans. It probably won't pay the complete entirety of student loans, but it will definitely be very beneficial. But it can even buy you a car. It can, again, student loans, credit card debt, other kinds of loans, all that stuff. It can really, really help out and be assistance to anyone that has debt, especially before a lot of the high interest rates start to compound and you start to owe even more money, which starts to create the cycle of difficulties when it comes to your financial situation. This is going to be very, very beneficial and help a ton. Now, the next thing that we have to talk about is something that's a little bit more, I guess you can say, laid back, but it is still really, really important because, again, we talk a lot on this channel about how it's not just about saving a lot of money, but about trying to find that balance to enjoy life as well. So where I'm really trying to go at that is that because when you have $10,000 saved up, especially if you are someone that's relatively young, single, and don't have as much going for you in life, in terms of like bills, expenses, and responsibilities, $10,000 can be really, really nice for finally having some fun money, some spare money to be able to kind of enjoy life a little bit. Because again, we've talked a lot about this on our channel, is that because a lot of times there is so much more to life, although money is very, very important, and we definitely have to prioritize money when it comes to survival related reasons. Once you get to a certain point in time, beyond that beyond that, money starts to be a lot more priorities that people should start to consider beyond just money. And one of the things that they should consider is being able to actually enjoy and spend that money. And when you have $10,000, you finally have some spare amount of money that you can take that potential vacation, to be able to buy maybe some material that you really, really enjoy, maybe the next PS5, maybe a lot of experiences, concert tickets, athletic games, so many things that you can now potentially enjoy for $10,000 and really, really help you feel a little bit more fulfilled and satisfied with your life. So life is not always just super bland and repetitive or anything like that. This will add some light to your life. This will be able to add some energy, some excitement to whatever you're trying to do in life. And $10,000 is the perfect amount of money to be able to enjoy and relatively live with. Not necessarily just for survival reasons, but for pleasure and fun. And I think that that's something that's very important. It sounds a little bit immature, but at the end of the day, it is important because, again, there is a lot more to life after a certain point than just hoarding cash all day. And it does help support the economy and a lot of businesses at the end of the day as well. But that's going to be the fourth thing. And probably the fifth and final thing that I think is really, really important, how life is going to change when you save up your first $10,000, is that it's also going to lead, and this is something that's really important, is that in order to save up $10,000, it's going to lead to a lot of growth and knowledge. Because the kind of person to be able to save up $10,000, especially if you are someone that's trying to save it off of low income, because it's very easy, let's be honest, to save $10,000 if you're a high-paying 120K, salary software engineer. But if you are someone that's living off of low income or even minimum wage, it's a really, really difficult goal to achieve. And I speak as someone that, me myself has worked a lot of minimum wage jobs in the past. It's a very, very difficult goal. But when you are in such tight financial situations, the kind of knowledge and growth and level of financial literacy that you have to have in order to save $10,000 when you are in those particular shoes and situation, you have to be someone that is relatively financially literate in order to do that. So one of the biggest ways that it's going to change is not just about the things that you can now buy for $10,000, but it's also going to be the amount of knowledge that you accumulate in the process to save $10,000. And I've said this quote before, and and I'll say it again, is that one of the biggest quotes that I've heard in life, and I think, again, it might not be a famous quote, it might have even just been a quote that I heard from someone chit-chatting with some mentor at a bar or something like that, is that it's not always about what you can get out of a particular something, but it's about what you can get in the process to get there. Because the amount of knowledge and growth and financial literacy that you have to be able to save up your first $10,000, that is something that is almost invaluable, that can serve you very, very well in the long-term future in life. And I think that's probably going to be the final and probably one of the most important things that you can take away from this video to really be able to share. But of course, there are so many things that we can share. Maybe comment down if you want to see a part 2 if that is something of interest. But with that being said, that's really what I want to say in today's video. So if you guys made it to the end, thank you guys so much for watching. As always, like, comment, subscribe, or leave a comment for suggestions if there's any that you want to share. Subscribe, hit the bell, and hope to see you guys next time. Thank you guys so much again.